What's up, guys? So this is going to be the Q&A for 2013. First off, sorry for skipping last year's. I didn't even think about it, and sorry for being a little late on getting this one answered and uploaded. But yeah, looks like we're going to have a good one this year. Just skimming over the questions. Anyway, yeah, let's get into this. You guys know the drill. Just going to be some audio, and yeah, just hanging out. Just going to go from top to bottom here. So first question is from Mr. Adrian1106. This is a three-part question. Hey Travis, I have a couple questions. First, I was wondering, what are your thoughts on R.A. the Rugged Man and his new album? R.A. is cool. He's a little big-headed though. I have a couple tracks of his that I enjoy, but he doesn't seem to give 100% into everything he puts out. As for his new album, I haven't listened all the way through it yet, so I can't speak on it. I enjoyed the Tech track though. They both killed that shit. Second, what's your thoughts on hip-hop today and old school and new school? I'm a new school fag. There's very little pre-late 90s stuff that I enjoy. I appreciate and fiend for 7, 8 plus syllable multis that chain on forever and fucking and crazy cosmic flows that shouldn't even really work on a beat, but the artist somehow makes it work, and any type of lyrical showmanship I appreciate and I enjoy. People didn't take the time to craft those kind of verses back. It was easy to get by back in the day without really trying. How did it go? Diz said something like they lived in a time cluster where it was easy to get by without those intricate rhyme structures, but as the internet lines buffered, they realized it's harder to keep up with little kids because it got like a million times tougher. And that's true. That's the truth. Now that anybody can go to their local music store and grab a mic and a mixer and really start making a name for themselves through YouTube alone, artists are having to step up more than ever within the last decade because the competition is so hardcore. I mean, you don't want to be some dusty ass rapper suddenly getting lyrically steamrolled by some little white kid with a YouTube channel or any random King of the Dot or Smack battle MC. It's not a good look. So, yeah. And third, I thought this was a little weird to ask in a Q&A. Could you check out some of my beats on my channel? Yeah, I could do that. Bison Affinity asks, what is the situation with you and your sister? Do you talk, etc.? It's not good at all. I hate who she chooses to be. She's everything that I hated about being a teenager. She's one of those teenagers that ruins everything for the mature ones who are trying to be taken seriously and migrate into a responsible adulthood. And the worst part is she's aware of it. She's aware that smoking cigarettes is slowly killing her. She's aware that her liver isn't ready to handle alcohol yet. She just doesn't care. And she'll say that to your face that she doesn't care. It's fucked up. 500, think about it. 500 million. I'll say that again. 500 million people in America. That's like 8 zeros. 500 million people in America alone drop dead to just cigarettes. And she just sucks them up one after another. She's selfish as fuck. And she does this fake depression act when she's in social situations and there's someone there who she can suck some sympathy out of. She's fake as fuck with her hot pink hair and her little tight jeans and her fucking Uggs or whatever happens to be in style that month. And her fucking bullshit friends. She's surrounded by a massive group of friends. And she lives with a fucking family, yet she turns around and tells her therapist, "Oh, I feel alone and isolated." So much so that my uncle is sitting here calling me, telling me that I should do something about it. Like, bitch, you go to every fucking hipster festival and rave and party and social event that happens within a 50-mile radius. And she's fucking men that are older than me. Like men that would go to jail for a long time and probably never get out. Like, they get killed in there, because that's what happens when you fuck little kids. If she decided to come to somebody about it, it'd be a bad time for those guys. And while she's at these events that I was talking about, she does every drug she can get her hands on. She doesn't care about the purity. She doesn't care who it's from or who's distributing it. She just pops whatever ends up in her hand with zero prior research on the substance or how to properly trip on it. And I can speak from personal experience. I've given her a capsule of psilocin like a year or two ago, and she did everything wrong. She didn't even call me before, like I had told her to. She took it. I was supposed to help guide her and shit, but instead she just took it, just one day, and she just ended up having a horrible trip that she learned nothing from because she spent the entire duration running from it. And if you call her on her shit, she just acts all depressed, like I know, I'm the worst, and she just goes into this like sympathy leeching / public self-loathing mode instead of doing something about it. Maybe that'd be good. And she actively goes out of her way to hang out with just the worst people. Just the worst people. Even when she has much better alternatives, like, for instance, my girlfriend, Lynn. Her and Lynn were like best friends for a long time back in middle school. I mean, poor Lynn, my sister was her only friend. And now she's friendless, just like me. And Lynn, she's gone out of her way for years, especially lately, to try and hang out with her and remain her friend and try to have some good times together. But Kelly, she just blocks her out every time for other usually shitty people. Like, you know what I would give to have a good friend? Like a person that I could go chill with, or someone that wanted to hang out over here. And same with Lynn. But we refuse to deal with bullshit people, these fucking walking contradictions who have no intention of making this planet a better place to live for any amount of people. They just want to do their time, suck up resources, and die. And fucking, I'm over it. I'm over it. That's the situation between me and my sister. 2, how come you do less videos, and when you do, it's always about psychedelic and anxiety experiences as opposed to your old videos when it was just chilling with Travis and seeing what he has been up to? I don't do less videos. At least I don't think so. I make a video whenever I feel like making a video, man. I've never been on any type of schedule. I go through spurts where I'll upload a video every week, and then sometimes I'll go a month or two of not uploading anything. There's no real algorithm to it per se, and my videos are almost all just hanging out with me and seeing what I've been up to. It's just that ever since late 2011, early 2012, I've been a full-blown psychonaut. That's what I label myself as before anything else. I can rap with the best of them. I've been skating for 13, 14 years. I'm an XB tuner, but psychonautics are my primary interest because me owning a body. Yeah, I mean, to me, owning a body and not exploring the depths of consciousness through dream states and psychedelic-fueled meditation is like being given a badass sports car and never leaving the garage with it. I mean, natural psychedelic use has been a vital part of human evolution up to this point, especially things like psilocybin mushrooms and other forms of DMT. I mean, you're gonna tell me that there's these infinite realms of knowledge that have existed all around us forever. I mean, they've been there longer than any place you've ever physically been before, and nature gives you VIP access, and you're not going to participate? You're cutting yourself out of most of the consciousness experience. For me, my interest started back in 2007, 2008 when I started my dream journal as an attempt to train myself to lucid dream. I had a few before then, but I wasn't really able to trigger it. Now almost every dream I have is at least semi-lucid. I'm always aware that I'm dreaming. And in 2010, I found that most dream states are just NN-DMT trips produced by the pineal gland. So that naturally sparked my interest in psychedelic substances, and that eventually led to my interest in meditation with them, and here I am today. It's what I do. It's what I label myself as. As for the anxiety videos, that's nothing new at all. Almost every other video I've ever made, excluding my WoW stuff, has been dark and centered around my inability to stabilize myself and come to terms with my own mortality. I've struggled with depression-fueled anxiety since 6th, 7th grade. But the thing is, I don't fight it, at least not anymore. I accept it as part of the cycle of living. You can't just be happy and bright 24/7. It's necessary to let the darkness run its course through you, just as much as you let the light in. That's the yin-yang shit, You got to have an even balance, because you don't know up without down. You don't know white without black. That's relativity. In order to meet true happiness, you have to have an equal relationship with the darkness. So, yeah. 3. Sum up 2010 to 2013. You mean like with regards to the planet and society, or just what's happened in my lifetime during that time frame? I'm not sure. That one's a little too general, man. Another one from Mr. Adrian1106. He says, "Oh, and another question: have you ever played the Diablo series?" No, I'm not a fan of RTS games or anything like them. I don't like the feel of it. I played through the Warcraft 3 campaign while waiting for Burning Crusade to come out, and I just didn't enjoy it. I don't like the top-down helicopter view and controlling multiple characters and clicking to move and looking all over the map. I prefer the third-person games with a huge environment like GTA and the skate games, and of course WoW. I also don't like first-person games. Besides Portal, I really enjoyed the Portal games, but that's because you can take your time with it. It's not necessarily combat situations. Like I picked up BioShock Infinite the other day because I saw a trailer for it online, and it looked really cool, like the environment and the detail and everything. But I hate the gameplay. It just feels awkward to me, so I didn't even get past the first level when you got to make it to the big floating statue thing. But yeah. King Nadney asks, what are your thoughts on new Eminem versus old Eminem? Had you asked me this prior to the second Mathers LP that just happened, my answer would have been something along the lines of, he's still more talented than most, especially in the mainstream, but I think him lacking the weed and the acid or whatever else he was taking early on, prior to the pills and alcohol, on top of the fact that he doesn't really have anything to prove anymore, he's lost that hunger. His new music lacks that fire because of it. But this new LP he just released back on my birthday, I don't know what happened, but it's like he's really trying again. I mean, I read somewhere that he hadn't worked on the project. He hadn't worked on a project this hard since the Eminem show, and it really shows here. I mean, you can't really complain. The biggest, really the only complaints I have about the project is the hook game is terrible. But that's mostly because he didn't write the majority of them. I mean, some of them are cool, but he's always had really good hooks, This album, not so much. So there's that, and I feel that there were some bonus tracks that would have fit better on the primary track list, and there were some tracks that I would just get rid of, like Berserk and what's that other one that I don't like? Wicked Ways. And Desperation. I don't like. Well, Desperation's kind of cool. There's one of them that I'm thinking about that I don't like. I can't remember it though. But I would have swapped out Rhyme or Reason with Baby, and I would have swapped out Berserk with Groundhog Day. And I probably would have swapped So Far with Beautiful Pain. I love Beautiful Pain. That's my shit. That song right there. And fucking Headlights, dude. Fuck that shit. I listened to it once, and by the end of it, I was like a sobbing mess. That song and Dance by Nas. Nope. I'm way too big of a pussy. But yeah, so Relapse and Recovery were all right. I enjoyed them. I enjoyed them for a bit when they came out, but there's nothing from those albums that I still really listen to. But the MMLP2 is a classic as far as I'm concerned. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure what more you could ask for. I also really enjoyed the Monster video, although I think Rihanna's parts were unnecessary in the video. Like they could have used that hook time to play more clips from back in the day, like him reflecting on the past and stuff. But yeah. Also, I don't like his performances ever since he got sober. He just fails as a performer in my book. His breath control now is it's extremely sloppy, and his movements are really awkward, especially back in the Relapse era. And he just seems uncomfortable in general. Like I try to avoid watching him perform these days for those reasons. Whereas back in the day, he was a beast on stage. You could tell that he was still hungry as fuck. And he dresses awkward as fuck these days too, like with all the tight clothing and stuff. It just looks silly to me. I don't know if the sponsors are making him do it or what, but it just looks goofy to me now. WoW Player 43 with another 3-part question. One, if you could say anything to your 16-year-old self, what would it be? That's a hard one. Anything? Probably be there when my mom dies, because I wasn't. the last month or so that she spent in hospice care, I didn't go see her. It was the most selfish thing I've ever done.